Hello, my peoples. It has been quite some time since we have last spoken or came across paths. But came back here with the Blitzburg Coverage Podcast for the season finale. It's been a few weeks since we last touched base, so, you know, had some life things going on, and now that we are here, start of a new month, February. It is now time for the Super Bowl and off-season shit. But in this episode today, I really just want to recap the season as a whole. If how our expectations went versus reality, how the players did, pros, cons, things to look forward to in the off-season, questions, many of things. And so let's just dive right in. The last time we had touched base was Wild Card Weekend. The Steelers go to Buffalo on a Monday and lose a game, in which was competitive, but Buffalo was pretty much in control of it. We never really were able to put the pressure on them, as we got it to a one-score game in the fourth quarter, but ultimately lost the game as we went one and done again for the fifth time, I want to say. 2016 wasn't one and done. 2017 was one and done. 2020 was one and done. 2021 was one and done. And then this one. So 4 one and dones. So we finished 10-7 ultimately. I look back, a lot of our wins were very close. I mean, just winning by the size of a fucking toe. And then some games we lost, we just got our ass whooped. The Niners whooped our ass. Texans whooped our ass. The Colts whooped our ass. Cardinals, they kind of whooped us. Patriots got close, but ultimate loss. Cleveland, a very close loss. So, let's see, what is that? 5, Niners, Texans, Browns, Colts, Patriots, that's 5. Cardinals, that's 6. And then there's a 7th one in there I'm probably forgetting, but whatever. Nonetheless, we go 5-1 in our division record-wise, which is pretty good. I thought we'd probably go 4-2, maybe 5-1, but that's good to see, though the Bengals weren't really the same, with Burrow being hurt, obviously, not even playing him. Ravens sitting Lamar that last game. And that was something I mentioned before the season. I was like, I kind of thought Lamar was either going to be hurt or maybe Lamar wasn't going to be playing because of sitting. So that's why I had that marked as potentially a sweep before the season. Ultimately, I thought we'd win this division, and I was wrong in that aspect. We finished 3rd behind Cleveland and the Ravens, as the Browns finished with 11 wins. Baltimore with 13, the Bengals with 9. So, failed in that aspect. I was wrong on that. I said we'd get 10 wins, maybe 11 or 12. Should have had 11 or 12, but some games there that we should have won, we just didn't win, and some games that we lost, some games that we won, we probably should have lost. So it all balanced out in the end. But I think this season, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. 7-4, feeling really good. 7-7, feeling like trash. We win 3 straight. We make it in because we get help. All that just to get bounced. And so for me, before the season, I said this season would be only a success if we made it to the playoffs and won a playoff game. And we didn't. So to me, this season was a failure. Most people have standards of, Super Bowl or bust. This wasn't a Super Bowl or bust team because the AFC is just, it's a war zone, man. It's a fucking war zone. Buffalo, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Ravens, now the Texans, potentially the Jags. The Chargers are going to be a problem. The Jets will be a problem moving forward. Um, and then we have our own division, and it's just, I don't know. It's getting in anymore is not just a fucking. It shouldn't be at the peak. It shouldn't be just, hey, we got it in. We got it in the playoffs. Woohoo! I was ecstatic. Well, that's because I didn't even think we'd get in after getting to 7-7. But if you get in, we got to win, man. I mean, it's getting old. We get into the playoffs, and then we're just no threat. And that's why, to me, it's a failure because we're not getting anywhere. And over the past 2 weeks, there were a lot of questions. Tomlin reportedly was going to walk away and reevaluate where he wants to go or what his move would be moving forward. And that got cleared up real quick. They're going to extend Tomlin's contract. Presumably, I would assume soon, if not before the season. He's got 1 year left on his deal. So, I don't know where those reports came out, but he'll be back with the Steelers. And he'll be the coach as long as he wants. Rooney is not pressed to fire him at all. So, that won't change. And so, it's like, if you want to coach, here's what I'll say about Tomlin. He's a good coach, and two things can be true. He's a good coach, but we're not going anywhere with him. We're not going to the Super Bowl. We're not going to really be a threat in the playoffs. And, I mean, that's just what it is. Well, and then people will say, well, he didn't have a quarterback. He had been for damn near his entire career and still was losing playoff games, regardless of injuries. We could dive into that, one day we'll dive into all those fucking playoff games, but the fact just remains, we claw, we fight to get to 10 wins, 9 wins every year, barely get in, and we get bounced. That's just the reality of it. And so, Tomlin, if you want a guy that great players coach to a fault, and, keeps you competitive for sure, Could we have it worse? Absolutely, we could have it worse. But at the same time, we're the goddamn Pittsburgh Steelers. The standard is championships, playoff wins. Championships, playoff wins. We haven't been to the Super Bowl since 2010. We haven't competed to even get to the Super Bowl since 2016. Yeah, we've had some, division titles in there. But those seasons we faded. Whether it be injuries or just how the course of the season went, we faded, and into the playoffs we didn't do shit. So, and that's all that really fucking matters, to me at least. And so, Tomlin answered that question. He will be back. A lot of questions remain. They expressed interest in the fact they're going to look outside of the organization for a hire at offensive coordinator, so that question remained. But let's talk about the goods, though, at least, man. I thought the running game was phenomenal this year, led by Najee and Jaylen Warren. It took a while. It really took a solid 5-6 weeks to get it going, but I thought once it got going, it was pretty reliable. We were able to depend on those two to really carry this offense and at least give us a bright spot there. Najee with over 1,000 yards rushing. First Steeler ever to have 1,000 yards rushing in his first 3 years. Call it for what it is. 18, 17 game season, whatever. I still think it's a positive. I think they need to re-sign him. Not re-sign him. I think they need to give him that 5th-year deal on his rookie contract and extend him again for 1 more year. I think we should do it. I like Naj. Sometimes he's a little aggravating, but at the same time, the guy hasn't had the best offensive line. He's hard to bring down. He's reliable as far as holding on to the ball and ball, management. So I think he's a bright spot there. Then we got Jaylen Warren, great running back too. Arguably should have gotten more snaps at times. Had about 700 yards rushing and over 300 yards receiving, which gives him also 1,000 yards plus scrimmage yard-wise, which gives us 2 running backs with 1,000 plus yards. And the only other team to do that was the Detroit Lions. So I feel really confident on a running game moving forward. as far as tight ends go. Didn't really get to see a whole lot of Muth because of injuries, of course. And then Darnell Washington pretty much was just a run blocker. And they never really even utilized him in the fucking passing game. So, didn't get to see a whole lot of what he could offer, but I think he needs to be potentially someone moving forward we look to at least utilize a little bit more. Like, he's like 6'7", and he's a big-ass motherfucking dude. Use him in the red zone. Or, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a way we can use him more. Then you look at receivers. George Pickens with 1,000-plus yards. Led the league in, I think, yards per catch, which just shows that he's a big play waiting to happen. The target volume to me is questionable at times. Deontay Johnson had, I want to say, 700-ish yards, a pretty good solid season. Had a lot of touchdowns the final, 8 weeks of the season. Thought he played well. Definitely worked on his drop issue. Had a couple this season, but that'll happen. And I thought he played well. Probably could have had 1,000 yards if he didn't miss the first month, but it is what it is. Calvin Austin III and Allen Robinson really didn't offer much as a slot or a wide receiver 3 or 4, so nothing really to say there other than Calvin Austin III, I think, will step into a bigger role potentially next year, depending on what happens with Allen Robinson, as I think he could be a potential cut because of how much he costs against the salary cap. He is a big number there that needs to go down, so may look to cut him to save some money because he is not worth the price. Maybe he was just a veteran locker room kind of guy, but for like mentorship. But as far as producing goes, didn't really use him a whole lot. Maybe he didn't get open, whatever. And then we go to quarterbacks. Pickett played like 12-ish games, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Terrible. I know we only got to see him basically in the Canada scheme, which was what I mentioned before the season. Like, why is he here? We're just going to waste another year on Pickett. We don't know if he's really the guy. And I think that's still the question. I think that question still remains. Obviously, when Canada was let go, I thought Pickett had his best game of the year in that Bengals game. Really thought he let it loose. Played well. The points didn't show it, but he played well. We had 400 yards of offense, and that was really the only glaring spot this year for him. Outside of a few clutch moments, I know he's going to be QB1 next year, but I don't know how confident we can feel in him moving forward. Just considering what he's shown the past 2 years, very underwhelming. Didn't really produce, missed some throws. I know it's on the Canada scheme, but I'm just saying, man, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions is not going to do it. He's not going to be the guy that takes us to where we want to go. I think he's still going to be the starter, but I thought Rudolph in his short time outproduced Pickett. I mean, call for what it was. We had a couple of 30-point games. I thought Rudolph managed the pocket well, didn't break the pocket under pressure, didn't fold. Pickett, I thought at times just looked to scramble when he didn't need to. I thought he ran into some sacks. I understand, the only good thing with Pickett is no turnovers, but it's like, we got to fucking score. And so we don't have a quarterback 1. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have 1. That's my thing. So Rudolph is a pending free agent. I hope we bring him back. I think he's earned the right to at least compete for that QB1 job. And if he wins it, he wins it. Let the best guy win. And that's going to be something that drags into the offseason. And if Rudolph leaves, then we got to go sign someone. And Mitch Trubisky he's got to go. He's got to go. That's a whole other position we could sign money-wise if we cut him. So you cut Mitch and you cut Robinson. save some money, look to, add another player or two, and I think that'll probably be the move. I don't want to talk about offseason shit, but Mitch Trubisky should not be back at all. Not worth the money, turnover machine, costed us the Colts, Patriots games, and the Cardinals game, it is what it is. You get a half to work with, whatever. So quarterback, I think, remains a question. Pickett got hurt his first year a couple times. Last year he got hurt. I think he was dealing with an injury all year, to be honest, with his shoulder or something, but he hung in there. I will say he is tough, man. He guts it out. He comes out and he plays. I'll give him that much. He doesn't, he ain't going to not play because he's soft. But I just think we need to see more out of Pickett before we feel confident in him being the long-term solution. And then we get to defense. This year I thought the defense honestly played as good as we could get them to play, considering they played 80 snaps a fucking game, considering we had no middle linebackers from damn near half the season, no Minkah for half the fucking year. TJ played phenomenal, 19 sacks, etc., touchdown, fumble strip, sack, fumble recoveries, tackles for loss. Just the playmaker, pass deflections, he does it all, man. He's the best defensive player in the game. Nothing needs to be said there. Alex Highsmith, I thought, played well. I would have liked to have seen him finish more on some plays, but he definitely got a lot of pressures at least. But not as many sacks as last year. So, and then we got Herbig, who played well. Joey Porter Jr. is cornerback one, no question. Thought he had a phenomenal rookie year. And it's good to have a corner, because we haven't had a corner in quite some time. And I think he's really going to be a solid, great corner for us moving forward after what was a very promising rookie season. Then you talk about Keanu Benton. I thought he played well. From day one when he got the snaps, I thought he stopped the run well, was able to play against double teams, sometimes even triple teams. Definitely brought great interior pressure. Definitely needs to work on some pass rush, but I thought he played really well, and I think we have a solid, at least defensive / nose tackle there. But I still think we need to address another defensive lineman, because I don't know how much longer Cam Hayward's going to play. He's 35. Could potentially look at trying to renegotiate his deal and try to bring that cap hit down a little bit, but we definitely need to draft somebody there to have someone to go, man, because Cam didn't play a whole lot last year. He was hurt the first 7 weeks, came back for that Tennessee game, and he was still hurt. I mean, I don't think he played the best. I thought he definitely helped as far as stopping the run. Didn't offer a whole lot in the pass rush game, and that's what we need, I think, is another defensive end. I don't know what happened to Marvin Leal. I didn't see him at all this year. I don't know. I think we definitely need to add to that defensive line. Safeties, Patrick Peterson played safety a little bit, played corner. Levi Wallace, safety. DeMonte Kazee, I think we need to address safety. I think we need another safety, to be honest. I feel like in the draft or the free agency, definitely should look to add a safety. Maybe even bring back Terrell Edmonds. But honestly, I thought the defense played well. They're like top 10 in points, top 5 in takeaways. And so Terrell Austin was I'm pretty sure they're going to extend his deal. I thought he did the best of what he could. We were a bend but don't break defense. And, we needed to make plays. We made plays. Sometimes we didn't. But, when we're on the field for fucking 70 snaps, it's hard to stay fresh and keep your best players ready to go. But considering how the offense did not help them at all, I thought the defense played well. And I think we can rely on them to be a solid unit, whole team. If we can hold teams to around 19, 20-ish points, I don't know how much more you're going to ask out of them. So, TJ, Cam, Minkah didn't even play together. And then rising stars and Herbig, who can hopefully gets more snaps next year. Keanu Benton, and then Joey Porter Jr. And then offensive line, I think we need to look at getting a new center, Mason Cole. A lot of snap issues. Got blew up too many times in pass plays. Just got mauled. Shakuma Okorafor, not sure what's going to happen there. Dan Moore Jr., left tackle. He is what he is. I'll take him as a backup, but he should not be our starting left tackle. Big Brother Jones, a.k.a. Broderick Jones, should be moved back to left tackle, in my opinion. I thought he played well this year, but when you're already a rookie and you're going at a new position because they moved them right tackle, you go to a new position that you've never even played, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So, I didn't think he'd be a beast at right tackle because he's better at left tackle. And I thought in his only start, which was against the Ravens, I thought he played well. I thought he played well against the Ravens as KP's blindside protector. So I feel confident in him. I feel confident in James Daniels, and Isaac Seumalo played well. I like our guards, and I like Broderick Jones. But I definitely think we need to address center and right tackle moving forward. At least get one. If not, maybe both. Maybe you sign a free agent at one of those spots and you draft someone. I don't know. But still need some more help on offensive line. But, we'll get more into all that shit in the offseason. But nonetheless, this year I would say the offense still has questions as far as passing the ball goes. Trying to really create more of a vertical passing offense, hopefully, is my goal. If Pickett can, I don't know. We just need to see more out of him. If not, I'm looking to go to Rudolph and, potentially you bring a quarterback in via the draft or free agency. Because Pickett there's more questions than answers at this point. And they're still going to play him next year. I fully believe that because they're not going to give up on a first-round quarterback yet. And, let's see what he's got, man. I mean, I thought he would make a year two leap, and he didn't. Arguably looked worse. But, time will tell. It's only February. We got a long time to go. But this will be the season finale for Season 1 of the Blitzburg Coverage Podcast. And the Steelers did end up hiring offensive coordinator, but I will talk about that in the first episode of Season 2 here real soon. Probably tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, probably sometime next week. And then I'm not really too sure how frequent we'll do these episodes now that it's the off season. Probably not every week, obviously, but I'll probably have a more updated answer with that next time we talk. But nonetheless, a solid year, 10-7, no playoff dubs though. Ultimately for me makes it a failure. And we got a running game. Passing game needs work. We could look at potentially another receiver. Defense has questions, getting a little older, but got some fresh young blood in there that could look to be future stars. So I think that'll about do it for me. Hope you all enjoyed the final season finale episode of the Blitzburg Coverage Podcast. Leave some feedback. Give you boys some feedback. Let me know what y'all think of the year. How do you feel moving forward about this squad? And what do you guys think? How do you think we should go about the offseason? What do you think of the playoff game? What was your favorite game of the year? What wasn't your favorite game of the year? I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. We're out of here. Hope you all have a great Thursday. Turn up, stay cool, and stay active, man, and have a great Thursday.